What is up, guys? So I have been recently rewatching Arrow, and I somehow got through the complete garbage that was Season 1 and 2 when I finally got to Season 3, which was pretty good, but the season that is the topic of this video is probably the greatest season of TV ever put to the small screen, Arrow Season 4. So, typically with my season reviews, I go over my standout episodes, which are all my favorite episodes from the season. This time around, there were way too many to list. I can really just list all 23 episodes, so I'm just going to limit myself to 10. Those 10 being Green Arrow, The Candidate, Restoration, Lost Souls, Brotherhood, Legends of Today, Dark Waters, AWOL, Sins of the Father, Code of Silence, Broken Hearts, Beacon of Hope, Canary Cry, Genesis, Monument Point, Lost in the Flood, Schism, and the best episode of the season, 1159. So with all that in mind, let's go over my review for Arrow Season 4. So Arrow didn't start very strong, but it started getting really good. It started finding its footing around the second half of Season 3, and it really got great in Season 4. Season 4 is practically perfect in everything from the premise to the execution, and first of all, let's talk about the main villain, Damian Darhk. Now, I don't think the actor did a very good job for the most part. I mean, he was a pretty boring, non-charismatic personality, which is a huge downgrade from Ra's al Ghul, but where Damian is way better is his motivation and also his magical abilities. My favorite villains have always been the ones that just want to destroy the world, either just for no reason at all, just because they just want to destroy the world, or so they can make a new one afterwards, which is a motivation that I don't think they really use enough in media. But what makes Damian Darhk so good are his magical powers. I mean, making a villain of a season of a show where the main character has a bow and arrow and doesn't have any powers at all, and making that main villain a guy with magical powers was completely genius, because every time Damian Darhk showed up, it made Green Arrow, which is a pretty stupid name by the way, look like he couldn't do anything, and he just stood there because Damian had his powers on him, which is a great way to make the villain look incredibly badass and mega powerful. And the decision to give Oliver magical powers in the end was genius as well, because before he had no powers, which is so lame. I mean, just no powers for a superhero. He's not really a superhero, he's just what they call a vigilante, which is just so incredibly lame. You can't be a superhero without superpowers unless you're Batman. And is Green Arrow Batman? No, he's not, so he has to have superpowers. Sadly, they did get rid of those magical powers in Season 5, but the villain wasn't the only thing they nailed this season. I think the dialogue and the drama is completely on point like never before. No longer are we cursed by crappy dialogue like this.
Yes! They deserve to die! All of them! The way she died!
Or this.
Once he has lost everyone and everything he values, I will drive an arrow through his eye.
Now we are blessed with the incredible written and acted dialogue scenes like this one.
Look, Felicity.
Stop! I cannot hear another lie.
It's more complicated than that.
God, Oliver, you're the only person on this planet who considers the truth complicated.
It's just so good. And that scene leads perfectly into the best thing about this season, which is Felicity Smoke and Elicity. Felicity Smoke gets so much screen time this time around in this season, and considering she's the greatest TV character ever created, that's definitely a huge positive. I mean, Felicity's screen time in this season makes it feel more like Felicity and Friends than it does Arrow Season 4, which is awesome. I mean, Arrow is not as good a character as Felicity, so Felicity should have the leading role in this season, and she kind of does, which is such a great positive for this season. Felicity has so many badass moments. We get to see her entire family working together, which is just perfect, and obviously Oliver and Felicity have all these great romantic moments. It's everything you can ask for in a superhero show. This season does kind of take a dive when Felicity breaks up with Oliver. Everything around this storyline is great, like with Damian Darhk and all the fight scenes and the main storyline of the season going on in the background, but there's no reason they should have broken up, especially since they didn't get back together until Season 6, and Season 5 had no Elicity at all, except for like 2 episodes. Why couldn't Season 5 be more like this season? I mean, you go from the best season of TV ever created to what is essentially the worst season of TV ever created, which is Arrow Season 5. I mean, Season 4 is just so perfect, and to go to Season 5, it's just such a disappointing downgrade. There are other minor things in the season that make it so good, like the fight scenes are just so amazing. They are so well shot and choreographed. It's crazy. I don't really think Arrow got fight scenes like at all. They didn't really know what they were doing in the first two seasons. Season 3 it started getting good, but Season 4 had just the best fight scenes ever, and obviously Season 5 just got rid of that completely. The fight scenes in Season 5 are ridiculous. I mean, everything about it is so bad. The choreography is terrible. The way they shoot it is terrible. It's all just so dark. I hate it, but this is not a review of Season 5. This is a review of Season 4. The best fight scenes in Season 4 are, the first of all, Oliver versus Malcolm in, I think, episode 12, where Oliver took him out in like 10 seconds. It was just amazing fight scene that made Oliver look so incredibly badass and showed how far he came from the crappy Season 1. And then there was the one in the finale when Oliver fought Damian Darhk, and it really reminded me of The Dark Knight Rises, which is a pretty okay movie, but the fight scene where Batman and Bane were punching each other and literally doing nothing but punching each other, they really took that and they made it even better somehow with this fight scene where Oliver and Damian Darhk punched each other. It was just so damn good. And of course, I cannot talk about the greatest season of Arrow ever without talking about the greatest moment of the show. Laurel getting stabbed and subsequently killed. I hate Laurel. She's just so damn annoying, and she always gets in the way of Felicity, like especially in the garbage Season 1. So while I tolerated her this season, I was just so happy when she got stabbed in the gut. I screamed in excitement as my least favorite character ever has officially been killed. The actual death scene I don't think was very sad, and I think the showrunners knew that most people watching the show would be very, very happy that the Black Canary in a Green Arrow TV show was killed off, so they didn't really make the death scene very sad at all. And I think that afterwards, after the Black Canary in a Green Arrow TV show was officially killed off after 4 seasons, I didn't really feel like a character was missing. It felt like only a nuisance was finally gone because they killed off the Black Canary in a Green Arrow TV show. So in conclusion, Arrow Season 4 has gotta be worst season of TV that I have ever seen. This is obviously an April Fool's joke, and everything I said in this video was the exact opposite of what I actually believe about this season and really every other season or any other thing that I talked about in this video up until this conclusion. Everything was the opposite of what I actually think. This might have been obvious. This probably was obvious if you've been following me for at all or you just noticed my tone in this video, but just for the people who didn't get it, because last year I did do a less obvious April Fool's joke just going by the title, and like half the people watching disliked the video because they didn't get it, which I understand. It was very clickbaity because it was an April Fool's joke, but this time around I hope you guys get it, and I hope you guys found this video enjoyable. So I'll give Arrow Season 4 a 20 out of 10. It's the greatest TV show or greatest season of TV ever put to the small screen.